into it. Coach Colin here. We are in the vacation studio right now. I'm still getting my bearings here. I apologize for the lighting. The content does not stop. We got another one for you guys today. Byron Donalds is receiving the mainstream media propaganda treatment. If you don't know who Byron Donalds is, he is a firm, hardcore Trump supporter. He does not play around. Like, I got a shirt. Byron, he might have this tattooed on his back right now. I wouldn't be surprised. And you know what? I might do the same thing. I'm kidding. But Byron Donalds said something about Jim Crow. Now, the thing is, he didn't really say anything about Jim Crow. But by the clips I'm going to show you a couple of clips of the mainstream media talking about this. Okay? And then, oddly enough, CNN, in a sit down with him, actually are the ones who play the full clip and give the full context. But of course, in regular CNN form, they still try to twist the story, contort it to make him seem like he said something terrible about the black community. But he really, really didn't. Now, I'm also going to talk about this at the end and say that he's right. He's 100% right in what he's saying. But we'll get to that in a second. But listen to these clips really quick, okay?
Capitol Hill in a separate issue with a leader, Hakeem Jeffries, and Byron Donalds kind of now in an internal beef because Byron Donalds made some comments at a campaign event just yesterday suggesting that African Americans were better under Jim Crow, to which Hakeem Jeffries replied on the House floor today that is an outlandish statement and ignorant. So that being said, this is all about both sides really trying to advocate and make their case to African.
It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Now, watch when you guys see the full clip, right? But I want to show you the mainstream first. I love showing you guys the mainstream first and then showing you the actual story, because what they have to say is so wild. Listen to this now.
Well, I mean, the video that Byron Donalds himself posted really says very clearly what he said. We're not making it up and analyzing that. And the reality is that over 4,000 lynchings occurred in the Jim Crow South, and thousands of families, homes burned, moved out of their communities, deprived of their civil rights. And so the idea that the husbands, fathers, brothers, sons of those who were lynched, mostly men, were better off is just absolutely factually and historically inaccurate, as Hakeem Jeffries has said.
And Amy, despite comments like we heard from Donald, despite some of the rhetoric that Trump has said that's been controversial regarding African Americans or other minority groups, the polls show President Biden is ceding ground with these voters. In April, an NBC News poll of black voters found 71% preferred Biden over Trump. Yes, that's an overwhelming majority, but it's down from the 87% he got, according to the 2020 exit polls from that election. How concerned should Democrats be?
Slightly concerned, because this will be an election about the margins. And if they're slipping, if they're losing, as polls show right now, it's a problem for them. I think Donald Trump wins by subtraction. If Biden can't get the voters out that he needs, particularly black men, black women are very much in his camp. They're why Kamala Harris is there. They're why he was elected president to begin with. But if he can't turn out black men, and Democrats have had a problem with that since 2016, then there will be a bigger problem for him coming up in the election in November.
There most certainly will be, because he cannot, because black men are starting to wake up. I wish black women would wake up the same way, but they are taken in by, just, hey, I got Kamala Harris here. They're like, oh, praise God. And that's it. And then they're just on board. And it's not all of them, but it's a far too big amount. Now let's just stick to what I was talking about here in regards to what Byron Donalds actually said. It's so amazing. Again, you would really think, and I gotta go back to this real quick. She has that MSNBC stare where she's just like, yes, overlord, say whatever I have to say about Byron Donalds. Now, this guy Jeffries, he slams Donalds for what he said about Jim Crow. And again, I can't wait till you see the clip, because he didn't say anything. He didn't say anything particularly about Jim Crow and black communities. It's just it's so silly, and it just shows the games that this side is playing. Listen, when I take a Biden clip and I show you him tripping up a flight of stairs or saying that his uncle was eaten by cannibals, I don't have to. I add some jokes to it to make it fun, but I don't have to, and what he meant is that he was eaten by cannibals. I don't have to do any of that. I don't have to contort it, I can just play the Biden clip. I talk about Kamala Harris just talking in riddles and as Tim Dillon put it, speaks in gypsy curses. I don't have to add anything to it. I just go, here you go. Here's the goods. But these guys, they have to add stuff to it. Here, check out what Jeffries had to say.
Gentleman's recognized.
Mr. Speaker, it has come to my attention that a so-called leader has made the factually inaccurate statement that black folks were better off during Jim Crow. That's an outlandish, outrageous, and out-of-pocket observation. We were not better off when a young boy named Emmett Till could be brutally murdered without consequence because of Jim Crow. We were not better off when black women could be sexually assaulted without consequence because of Jim Crow. We were not better off when people could be systematically lynched without consequence because of Jim Crow. We were not better off when children could be denied a high-quality education without consequence because of Jim Crow. We were not better off when people could be denied the right to vote without consequence because of Jim Crow.
Okay, you get the gist of it. There's only about 5 seconds left to that clip. Let's hear Byron Donald's response to that gentleman and the mainstream media. Let's go.
Joe Biden's campaign is lying to you once again, and they're gaslighting. Now they're trying to say that I said black people were doing better under Jim Crow. I never said that. They are lying. But why would you be surprised? Because they always lie. This is the same Joe Biden that said, if you don't vote for him, then you ain't black. The man is a liar. Sorry, just call it what it is. What I said is that you had more black families under Jim Crow. And it was the Democrat policies under HEW, under the welfare state, that did help to destroy the black family. That's what I said. And I also said you're seeing a reinvigoration of black families today in America. And that is a good thing. So don't listen to the lies from the Biden administration. I know what I said, and I'll say it straight to camera. They got to run to the Philadelphia Inquirer to move their lies. Joe Biden does not care about black people. He never has. He cares about power. First, second, and third. They can go somewhere with all that. See ya. Joe Biden's campaign is...
I like how he always has these super professional rants he goes on, and then at the end he just blackens it up a little bit. They can go somewhere with all that. I love it. But again, I don't want to say kudos to CNN, but surprisingly, CNN actually ends up playing the full clip, giving the full context, and actually having a conversation with Byron himself. Check this out.
Donald Trump's vice presidential contenders, Congressman Byron Donalds, he made some comments that has a lot of you talking and a lot of Democrats fired up. I'm going to speak with him live in just a couple of minutes, but here are the original remarks. They were made as a part of a pitch to black voters in Philadelphia, and I want you to hear it in its full context. Listen.
I grew up with my mom. My dad and my mom, things didn't work out. As an adult, I look at my father and I say, bro, I don't know what happened, but you my father and I love you. Wow. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. Wow. But I'm gonna tell you this, growing up, the one thing I knew I wanted to do, and this is not about my father, this is about what I wanted to do, is I wanted to be a father to myself. Wow. And so one of the things that's actually happening in our culture, which you're now starting to see in our politics, is the reinvigoration of black families with younger black men and black women. And that is also helping to breed the revival of a black middle class in America. You see, during Jim Crow, the black family was together. During Jim Crow, more black people were not just conservative, because black people always have been conservative-minded, but more black people voted conservatively. And then HEW, Lyndon Johnson, and then you go down that road, and now we are where we are. What's happened in America the last 10 years, and I say it because it's my contemporaries, it's Wesley's contemporaries, you're starting to see more black people be married in homes, raising kids. It's when you home with your wife raising your kids, and then you look at the world, you're saying, now wait a minute, time out. This does not look right. How can I get something to my kids? It goes back to the conversation of generational wealth. Not just having a job, generational wealth.
Now, we should note that many Democrats who jumped on Donald's today claimed that he said that blacks were, quote, better off. As you heard there, he didn't use those exact words in the clip, but the congressman joins me now to talk about that. Congressman, thank you for being here.
I just want to say real quick before I let the rest of that play, from this clip to this clip, how crazy is it? How to this guy here bellowing like this, grandstanding for everybody. How crazy is it that the clip that you just heard, that's what got this person saying he said we're better off under Jim Crow. This person saying, well, I mean, it's right there. It's a fact. It's on video. We don't have to analyze this. He said it to this guy going on and being all grandiose about how, you know, mentioning all these terrible things that have nothing to do with what Byron said whatsoever. How wild is it that they're willing to do that to people? I just want to make that a quick focal point in this whole thing. And Byron's going to speak and they're going to have their conversation. But how wild is it that the mainstream media will just, at the drop of a hat, you're for Trump? All right, well, we're going to twist everything you say. You might be the vice president with Donald Trump. We're going to twist everything you say. We're going to treat you like Donald Trump. We don't like Donald Trump. So truth, decency, actual listening skills, all that goes out the window. And we're going to make sure that the people who just read headlines, the people who watch MSNBC and go into the mainstream media, we're going to make sure that they understand that you said that black people are better off under Jim Crow, because possibly you could be vice president and you might bring more of a black vote to Donald Trump and it will solidify him becoming the president 100%. We can't have that. So we're just going to destroy you. Just at the drop of a hat, whatever. Doesn't matter. Did he say it or not? I don't care. This is what we're doing to him. Wild. Absolutely wild. Let's hear from him.
I want to just focus on really the substance of what you were saying or trying to say in that clip. What did you mean by black families were more together during Jim Crow?
Frankly, what that is about the empirical fact that before the Great Society, before Lyndon Johnson's policies, there was more black families united. The marriage rate in black America was significantly higher before the Great Society. The period of time that coincides with that, obviously, is Jim Crow era. And then after the Great Society, the marriage rate in the black community plummeted significantly. The Great Society is a part of that reason, not completely, but it's definitely a part of that. And what you're seeing right now in America is a reformation of black families in America. That's a good thing, not only for the black community and for black families, but it's also a good thing for the country.
So what was the point of tying together the black family and Jim Crow specifically? I mean, Jim Crow, as you know, was a period of racial segregation, of racial terror. Why would you make that connection?
All I was doing was referring to the time periods when you talk about the historical timelines in America and coinciding with black families and what the marriage rate in black families are. The overarching point is obviously talking about what polling shows today, that about 20-25% of the black vote, depending on what poll you're looking at, is leaning towards supporting Republicans and supporting President Trump. The corollary to that is that when you're in a family unit, husband and wife, living together, working together, thriving together, you're raising your kids, your thought process is now talking about building generational wealth.
What am I leaving to my children? What kind of communities do I want my children to come up in? What are the educational opportunities? What's going on with the economy? How does, and then to a broader level, how does foreign policy and all these other public policy issues flow into that? And so when you compare the terrible agenda of Joe Biden and what that's done to families in America, coinciding with the fact that you are seeing a reformation of Black families in America today, which is an absolutely wonderful thing and needs to continue. My view is it also coincides with a more conservative leaning and a more conservative mindset politically in those families.
One thing I really want to just get you to address is there were a lot of people who heard what you had to say, and a lot of them are offended by the idea that you would repeat Jim Crow 3 times in your comments as if to suggest that that was a time period because that Black families were, in your words, together, because, in your words, Black people were not just more conservative, they voted more conservatively. That's a good thing. I mean, it sounds like nostalgia. Do you regret using that time frame as a reference?
Nobody ever made nostalgia. That was never the point. It wasn't even about that. So where now I'm gonna get my backup is, I didn't say that. I didn't even insinuate that. That is where the media and yes, Hakeem Jeffries and a lot of other people are taking
what
it.
exactly didn't you
No,
insinuate?
back up.
I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. What didn't you insinuate?
The premise of your question, I did not insinuate. That is what people are trying to weave into what I said. What I said is crystal clear. It's on my social media. Go to @ByronDonalds on X. You can see the full clip. Abby, I appreciate you playing the full clip. What you are dealing with right now is a political environment where now anything I might say or any major surrogate might say is going to be twisted into the lens of race. That was never the point, not the idea
I just want
whatsoever.
to, I mean, just to clarify my questioning of you.
Sure.
I mean, I understand that this idea that you said it was better. You didn't use the words better. But when you talk about that time period, you're suggesting that because the Black family was together, they were better off than they are now.
See, this is the problem, Abby.
So are you saying that that's not the
Abby.
case? That the Black family was not better
No,
off
I did
when
not
they
say
were,
that.
in your
Abby.
words, together?
Abby, let me put it to you like this.
In the Jim Crow era.
Let's agree on something. I am, obviously one of the better communicators in the Republican Party. I know how to put words together. I do it very, very often. So I'm not going to say something that I do not agree with. What America is seeing right now, especially Black America, is the gaslighting that unfortunately does happen in politics, where you take my comments and you want to weave your own political viewpoint into what I said. What I said is very clear.
I asked you to explain because I wanted to. What I want to
ahead.
undo is understand what you're saying here. Because if you're making a comparison, you're saying the Black family was together then, they're not together now, and you're using that to try to say that things are bad now. Well, first of all, let me just to set the table here. By pretty much every available measure, Black families, Black individuals in this country are better off today than they were during Jim Crow. Would you agree with that?
Abby, of course I would. I'm not making that point, and this is the problem.
I don't even know why he would do that. I have to say, I have no idea why he would agree to that, because that's not true. Fatherlessness, that's coming from a fatherless home, it's the worst thing that could possibly happen. It's the worst. It's the worst. And it's happening so much in the Black community. I don't know why he would agree to that. He's getting pushed too much in this back and forth. That is just not true by every single measure. What about having 2 parents in a home? That's a great thing to have. Even if you're poor, even if you're dirt poor, it is still magnificent to be able to walk into a room and see your mother and father together, to see them maybe dancing, to see them maybe sitting on the couch together, hugging, talking to each other, laughing together. It's incredible to have that. And it helps you become a more well-rounded individual. I mean, the percentages of people of color who could, how much more of a percentage there is for you to not graduate from high school, go to prison when you don't have the father in the home is what? It's just crazy. The percentages go up so much. Now, obviously, I don't have those exact percentages here, but go look it up. Oh, man, this is a different studio. Go look it up. It's wild. So, no, by every measure, the black family is not doing better than they were under Jim Crow, during Jim Crow. Here's the thing. There's a big difference between saying this is what happened during this time period and this is what happened because of this time period. There's a huge difference there. That's why I think I'd be one of the better communicators. I should be helping this guy actually talk about this, because the black family's not doing much better right now. And it's not because of Jim Crow. It's because right now they're in a state where the mother is either working or feels like, I don't need a man, and I'll take my kids and I'll live on my own and I'll be just fine. Or the man feels like, I don't want to do this, and he ends up leaving. There was, back in the day, after Jim Crow, as the black community started becoming more left-leaning, where they were incentivized to not be together. And that was the major erosion of the black community, in my opinion. Because once a family's not together, once there's an incentive, and that incentive was there will be welfare, you'll be taken care of, you don't need to be with this man. The man had the incentive of going off. Drugs became wildly available. And this is not just black community. This is just working class, poor communities. It just became wildly available. You could just shirk your responsibilities. She could say fine and still get taken care of. The state would handle you in regards to you getting arrested possibly, and the state would handle her by pacifying her with money. It was one of the worst things to have happen. And it's happening at a more massive scale today. So, I mean, I just wanted to say that. And also, I'll just go on to say, imagine somebody being like, well, you know what? America really came together after 9/11. And then someone turning to you and saying, what are you saying? 9/11 was a good thing? You'd be like, what? No, everybody came together during that time. It's just a fact of what happened. People just came together naturally. That's like saying, wow, the world really came together during World War II to put a stop to the Holocaust. And people go, oh, so what? You want another Holocaust, bro? It's like, no, of course not. What? No, just during that time, they came together to stop Hitler. Is that what? This is such a, and then to say, because he said Jim Crow 3 times, like it's the Candyman, because he said it 3 times, he's putting nostalgia into what he's saying. There's no nostalgia for Jim Crow, but that time period, like I could say this, black people were still getting married. During slavery, black people were still in secret ceremonies, jumping the broom and still getting married and making sure that they were a union. That happened in slavery. And somebody coming to me like, what, you want to be in chains again, bro? What? No, I'm just saying what happened during that time. They used to sing songs. They used to sing hymns. Oh, man. So what, you want slave songs to come back, bro? Come on, man. It's so ridiculous. I can't. And because he's a politician and because he's a part of Trump's camp, he has to give it the time of day. But any other person going through this, you shouldn't even give this the time of day. This is nonsense. The only reason I played for you, it's happening on 3 different mainstream media outlets, is because he could be Trump's VP. That's the only reason that they're doing this. The only reason that they're trying to make it seem as if he's nostalgic for the Jim Crow era. It's so laughable. I can't even believe it. I just wanted to show you guys that. There's like another 10 minutes to this clip. I'm not playing the whole thing, but it's just nonsense. Absolute nonsense to suggest that somebody's nostalgic for the Jim Crow era because they said things that were factual during the Jim Crow era. And guess what? If the black families are starting to become more conservative, because like he said in that clip, they have been conservative. It's been a very conservative community for a very, very long time. And when the Democrats and the liberal mindset started penetrating the black community is exactly when it started to fall apart. Sorry. And things haven't been better since. And the thing is, it's been better for people all around because time has gone on and things have evolved and technology's gotten better and all things like that. But in regards to the family unit, no, things aren't much, I wouldn't say much better. Like, yes, living living, everything, acceptance, you know, society's changed a lot. Those things are great. But the family unit, it's almost laughed at now in the black community. You know how many people who are part of, you know, that alphabet community who try to push away, they're part of the alphabet community and the black community, and they're trying to push aside the nuclear family. They're trying to say that the nuclear family is not important. They're trying to say that the nuclear family is not necessary. It's crazy. It's the most necessary thing to a strong community. The most necessary thing in a strong community. And I don't see any other community that lacks it more than the black community. Sorry. Asian community, stick together. Jewish community, the family unit, mother, father, stick together. White, same thing. Obviously, everybody has their divorces. I mean, divorce rates are up really high, but in the black community, you see that the most. And that is the worst thing, in my opinion, happening to the black community. It's not Donald Trump. It's not MAGA working somewhere in the hills, like Maxine Waters was saying. It's that exact thing. And the thing is that the liberals, the Democrats of the world don't want black people to figure that out, because once they become strong in their family, they'll become strong in their minds, they'll become strong in their community, and they'll start doing what they want to do, because they'll be able to take back their sovereignty. Because once the community's strong, everybody's lifted up. If a community's weak, broken apart, you can sweep it up into whatever you want. Biden time, here, come on, everybody. Here you go. It's Kamala time now. Come on, everybody. It's Barack time. Come on, everybody. And that's what they're looking to do. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to say that. We're getting into almost 30 minutes here. Just wanted to say that really quick. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Helps the channel tremendously. Let me know what you think about this whole thing. And other than that, I'm out.